afternoon. Today is the 9th of December 2020, and on the BBC News, as reported this morning, we see the latest idiocy and illogical words coming out of the mouth of the Chief Constable of the Police Service of Northern Ireland. Here's the headline: Bobby Story, that is the IRA funeral that took place during lockdown, which was attended by 1,800 people. Quote, Bobby Story, PSNI defends the handling of the funeral. Chief Constable Simon Burney has said that widespread violence and disorder would have followed any attempt by the police to disperse the large crowds attending the funeral of IRA veteran Bobby Story. About 1,800 people attended Mr. Story's funeral in West Belfast. Police largely stayed away from the Sinn Féin stewards in charge of the mourners, who included several of the ministers of the Northern Ireland Executive Instorment. Mr. Burney said that the PSNI had not abdicated its responsibilities. What does the word abdicated mean? It left the policing up to Sinn Féin. Whose responsibility is it, the police? The police. And he says they haven't abdicated their responsibilities. We are in nobody's pocket, he said. We do not collude with anybody. We just have to use discretion, which is at the heart of our policing style. Discretion, it's called, is it? Let me get this right. If you would cause widespread violence and public unrest, the police will stay away. This is the Chief Constable saying this. But if you are a Christian who will not cause public disorder or commit violence, then 8 police officers and the Chief Inspector will come down on you and caution you at your church without any evidence at all and threaten you with court. I ask the question, is the Chief Constable of Northern Ireland not encouraging violence and public unrest? His philosophy, of course, is not new. Sure, it's not. It's very old. It's called pragmatism. That excuse, we didn't go to Bobby Story's funeral because it would have caused violence and public unrest. That is pathetic. That is no excuse at all. Pragmatism is his philosophy. The end justifies the means. The end, or the goal, was to avoid violence. Therefore, the means to avoid violence was the police stay away. So, what that means in reality is, if you're violent and will cause public unrest, you will be left alone by the police service of Northern Ireland. But if you are peaceful and law-abiding, you will feel the full weight of the police force. That's what pragmatism does to your morality, and we see it is the philosophy of the Chief Constable of our police force in Northern Ireland. What his words are a blatant encouragement to violence and unrest. They are a blatant favoritism of the violent person, and his words are a blatant incentive to be violent and cause public unrest. Also, his words show the blatant partiality in the police force, a favoritism, and he is using words so loosely without thinking of what the words really mean and the message that those words convey. We stayed away from the funeral because it would have caused trouble, but we'll go to places where it won't cause trouble. I thought it was the opposite, that the police were meant to police those who cause trouble and leave the law-abiding alone. This is typical favoritism and fear coming from the police force of our country. The ordinary person is pounded upon by the goon squad for attending church, but the violent get let off. Chief Constable, that is not only disgraceful, but it is irrational and illogical. Thank you.